everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Dani and this is Haley, and together we're Queens of Schemes. Today we're bringing you a Des Alpes update and everything we know about what they're doing right now.
If you're new here and you're not sure what Des Alpes is a pyramid scheme out of Montreal in Canada. Danielle and I have been following Des Alpes for about 8 months now, so it's time to break down the latest from them, and spoiler, it's more delays, empty promises, and some classic MLM red flags. Des Alpes has been delayed for many months now, but they are getting ready to take payments again, so it's important for us to spread the word that we still think this is a scam.
We're going to give you a quick update with what's been going on since July, mid-July through August. They've been promising payouts, trying to fix bugs. They've been launching new features, and they are reopening registration. And the kicker is that they've been promising to pay out people since February, and not one commission has been paid.
Basically, for the last 2 months, Des Alpes has been putting out dates and been delaying every single date that has come out. In July, they said that commission calculations would finish by July 31st, with payouts starting August 5th. But then there was a grace period through to August 31st, which was basically just a recruitment push to bring in more people before the September relaunch. Long story short, Des Alpes' payment system shut down and they had to recalculate all of the commissions. The team that they had doing this before sounds like they basically ghosted Dennis, and by the grace of God, he had a new person named Gianni step in who has been taking over to try to fix everything that has been wrong with their matrix. They said that they had over 70,000 coding mistakes in the matrix that they needed to fix. So that's what they've been working on. They've got support tickets. They're recalculating everyone's commissions one by one.
And that's a classic MLM move. Reset the back office, keep the people hooked by making it look like everything is going to be fixed, even though the evidence is showing that nothing is working.
Most of the meetings right now are just the same update over and over again, with them pushing dates back on when they're actually relaunching, when they're going to have access to the back office, when your commissions are going to be paid out. And don't forget the major server update delays. They missed deadlines by over a day because of networking dependencies and bugs, yet they keep hyping that everything's on track and it will be done midnight or bust. The most important thing to point out here is that Des Alpes is getting ready for people to start paying, even though nobody has been paid yet. So I'm going to play a short clip from the August 6th meeting where they discuss what their plan is next week.
Before we get to anybody wanting to ask this, the next release after that, mid next week, is where we open up the payments for the 100,000 people who did not have a chance before they shut down the site. So it's not opening to the world, but it is opening to them. We, upon request of a few other people and Dennis and Danielle, we're adding another functionality for the members that allows you to see a report of your downline. That'll help you as a sales tool to be able to say, okay, now we can take in payments. Well, let me see in my downline here who did not have a chance to pay, and let me call them or work with them or do whatever you need to do to help grow your team. So at the same time, mid next week, we will release the pay in and the report in the back office, plus a bunch of tool tips and other little bug fixes that we're working on. And that's headed for mid next week. We're still on target for first week September 1, around there. I'll keep you guys posted where we open up to the world. Of course, there's a lot more pieces to opening up to the world, but we'll have pay out, we'll have pay in, we'll have a great comp plan that's calculating calculations or calculating the commissions perfectly in the back office. I think we have pretty good fundamentals.
And here, folks, you hear it right from the horse's mouth. Nothing's working right now. Nobody's getting paid.
And personally, I just think that there's way too many issues with this. They're having to recalculate everything. One of the biggest red flags that I do want to point out about this compensation plan, though, is that nobody actually knows what it is right now. So Des Alpes, when it first launched, they had a compensation plan and they had a structure of how they were going to pay people. All of that is gone. All of the commissions are being recalculated. They are redesigning this entire compensation plan that nobody has seen, but you could make a payment. I think that is extremely sketchy, that they're asking you to join an opportunity and pay, and they haven't even shown what the new compensation plan is going to look like.
Yeah, that's nuts. I would never accept a job that I didn't know what the income was going to be. I would not sign my life away to any employer without first knowing what they were going to be paying me per hour.
And the fact that people haven't been paid yet, but they're getting ready to take payments tells me that they're getting ready to take payments because they owe people money. And I'm assuming that part of these payments are going to be to pay this new team, because I highly doubt that Gianni and all these new programming people that they've had on these meetings are working for Dennis by the grace of God for free, and that they're not expecting some type of compensation for doing all this. They're saying that they're staying up till midnight, they're having all these meetings every single week, they're working on the back office, all of this. I highly doubt they're doing it for free.
Ooh, it's starting to sound more and more like a Ponzi scheme.
They need people to pay for their $129 ambassador memberships before they can afford to pay people out their commissions.
Important to say the whole team over at our dev team over at Signature Web is motivated and excited and appreciates the patience and the opportunity to be growing with everybody here. So I did it, Mario. I know I did a lot of time on this one, but once again, thanks for giving me the microphone. It's all yours.
All right. You did it, my friend. All right, Dennis.
Oh, thank you, Jenny. I mean, you took the time it took. Job. I want to thank Jenny and his team so much for what they're doing in the background. You have no idea, guys, all the work that's being done right now, 24/7 to get all this done. So we have to go through the buffer time. Yeah, we went over the buffer time, but there's a reason for that. Jenny, I believe, explained that very, very well. The support, the tickets. It's very important that we go through those tickets because that's going to count in the cron jobs. And when the cron jobs start rolling, it's finished, guys. Once it's done and we pay out, we cannot go back. We're going to be moving forward. So it's very important that everybody gets treated to the best of what we are able to serve you. Okay, that's very, very important. All the work that's being done in the background, guys, it's been huge. You know that we come from a disaster back then. Jenny and his team have worked so hard to bring this to fruition. We've been having also some, what I understand, we've been having some emails saying that, where are my 20 people? Hey, if they're not there and they don't exist, I mean, we cannot just invent them. So we have to find them. There's a lot of work being done. So all this is being polished, as Jenny explained. By Friday, all this should be done. Over the weekend, things are going to be prepared for the payouts by, I believe, probably by the beginning of next week, and opening up by mid next week for people to pay in. So things are going well, very well, and ready for the 1st of September, which is back to school, and all the business start again, right? So that's when we're gonna. So guys, and about the store too, I know there's a lot of work being done also for the e-commerce store. Great, amazing ideas are coming for that too. Listen. Just be patient. Things are getting done, but they're getting done properly, professionally, and that's the most important thing, because we have to treat this community professionally. Okay, so
now things are being done professionally and properly.
The next docu-series is going to be the Des Alpes disaster. Get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, I don't really think that it's a flex to say that you came from a disaster and now you're going to be doing things professionally and you're going to be doing things properly, especially when people haven't been paid. And again, it's the vague dates. So it's going to be starting in September because that's when everyone's going back to school and businesses start up again. They can't give you an exact date because they have no clue if they're actually going to be able to get this thing working. And good luck getting those 100,000 people to wake up and join Des Alpes again when people still haven't been paid.
And please remind me, Haley, is this the second or third relaunch?
I don't know. It's probably the 4th or 5th. This is one of those forever in pre-launch MLMs. I'm glad that he brought up the supposed store and that they have some really great ideas for it as well. That really impressed me. So the store's not done and there's no products, but they've got some really great ideas.
And I want to bring us back to something that you had said in the initial Desalpes video, the deep dive. You had brought up that it was weird that they were offering a product that wasn't set up yet. And I am shocked that we're here today and there's still no concrete store to go shopping in.
The only thing that you're selling with Des Alpes is recruitment. You're recruiting people into this. They're paying for something. They don't know how much money they're going to make. They don't know when the store's going to open, or if they're ever going to be able to purchase products, or if those products are going to be any good, or even at this point what those products are, but they need your money. And I just want to remind everybody that it is illegal in Canada where this company is operating to strictly pay people based on recruitment with no product. And we have reported Des Alpes to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre multiple times. So just because it seems like a company is operating legally and they have this special team and a back office and a website and virtual cards, that does not mean that they are actually operating legally. And that is the problem with these scams. I think I've watched so many Julie Anderson videos. She puts in reports to the FTC and the Anti-Fraud Center all the time, and these businesses are still able to operate. And to be honest, I'm not sure what happens behind the scenes and how long it takes a thing like the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center to step in and stop something like this, but I'm sure that right now Des Alpes probably isn't really on their radar because they aren't actually paying people. But they're certainly painting a picture that you can make a lot of money by just recruiting people.
And they're very convincing because if we remember from the first video, the way they execute their meetings is quite professional. They use very professional language, and it's no wonder that 138,000 people have been scooped into this.
And an important thing to remember is when people think, okay, well, why would all of these people be involved in doing this if it wasn't legal? They're making money. They're going to make money. They are the ones that are actually on the top of this matrix. So anybody that's working behind the scenes, they're thinking that they're going to get a huge payout at the expense of every $129 ambassador membership.
The last thing Haley and I want to talk about are all the red flags we discovered when going through the Telegram group messages and the YouTube videos they've been putting out. And I'm going to start with the first red flag, which are the massive delays. They've been promising payouts since August 5th, but as we know, nobody has been paid since February, basically since the start of this. They've missed multiple deadlines, whether that's payout launches, server updates, but there's always something going wrong that pushes the date further.
Another red flag is the ticket backlog and the poor support. There's been hundreds of unresolved support tickets, long wait times with no real customer service, and this is because it seems like they lost most of that information when everything shut down before. So it's kind of unclear whether they're actually able to help everybody who puts a support ticket in and put them back on the matrix where they were supposed to be.
And the next red flag is vague human review process. They started introducing a manual payout review for payments that are over $200, and we suspect that what they're trying to do is slow down or limit who actually gets paid.
They also have a complicated virtual credit card system, payment methods tied to virtual cards with restrictions that add complexity and limit withdrawal options. And this ties into the vague human review process because the $200 that they're manually reviewing is going to be payments onto your virtual card.
The next one we noticed was that they have a huge user base, but there's absolutely no transparency. There are over 138,000 members, allegedly, and there is no breakdown of actual paid participants or income distributions because, again, nobody's been paid.
And they don't have a new compensation plan for people to look at. The next red flag is that there has been several forced waiting and grace periods. This August grace period that we're in now is just a recruitment push before the relaunch in September.
And the next red flag we see with a lot of MLMs or pyramid schemes, they will lock meetings and limit access. Their Zoom calls are locked to outsiders or for anybody who isn't buying the Kool-Aid, and it essentially limits transparency and independent oversight because they will make sure that anybody who is not investing in the business as they are, they keep them out. And Haley and I have seen a lot that they refer to us as the scammers, when in reality, we're not the ones scamming. We're trying to call out the person who's actually scamming.
Apparently, they just don't appreciate people like Dani and Hailz joining and having a background that flashes scam alert while they're reading their presentations. Who knew? Another red flag that we agree on is that we think the ongoing feature updates are being used as distraction. There are frequent mentions of training modules, e-commerce integrations, and system upgrades that have a little impact on actual payouts. And in the end, it doesn't really matter how many training modules people use and how many updates they get. The system is designed for 99% of people to fail.
And another red flag is that there's no clear proof that there is money flow. They talk about subdividing money and inspiration with no real evidence or receipts for real earnings.
And the last red flag, which is probably the most important, is that there is encouragement to keep recruiting despite non-payment. Members are encouraged to stay engaged and recruit more while waiting indefinitely for payouts since February.
Bottom line, everyone, long delays, no payouts, vague timelines, ticket backlogs, forced waiting periods, limited transparency, and a massive, still growing network with zero evidence of success.
If you're still holding out for real earnings from Des Alpes, just remember, none of the progress means money in your pocket. It's a textbook MLM waiting game designed to keep you paying and recruiting while the company delays payments indefinitely. Stay skeptical, don't fall for the hype, and keep exposing those red flags because months of waiting with no payment and constant delays, that's not a business, that's a scam. Thanks for joining us for this Des Alpes update. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Queens of Schemes on YouTube. We have some great content planned coming up to point out all the red flags we see in scams, MLMs, and pyramid schemes.
Thank you.